Today on CityCast Las Vegas, it's time for another Tuesday News Roundup. We're here with Nevada Current editor April Corbin-Gurnis and our executive producer Layla Muhammad. And today we're talking about Mayor Shelley Berkeley's State of the City address and how exactly we can avoid becoming the next San Francisco, whether or not WrestleMania's issues last week could harm our appeal as a host city for other major events, and the BTS Army is returning to Las Vegas. It's not your average concert, though. We'll explain why this is such a big deal for our city. It's Tuesday, April 28th. I'm Jesse Merrick, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Layla, April, how's it going? Happy Tuesday to both of you.
Happy Tuesday. Good morning.
Hey, happy Tuesday.
All right. I think we've got some juicy topics to dive into. Who doesn't love a good State of the City address, huh? And I think that's actually where we'll dive into and start with this one. Mayor Shelley Berkeley had some interesting things to say. She said she's going to do whatever she can to stop us from becoming the next San Francisco or Los Angeles. April, what exactly does she mean when she says that?
Well, you don't have to ask her. No, okay. So let's backtrack slightly. So last week, Las Vegas Mayor Shelley Berkeley gave her State of the City address. When she ran for mayor 2 years ago, she said that homelessness was a major issue for the city and wanted to prioritize that. So now 2 years later, she sort of conceded in her speech that, the fight is, quote, going in the wrong direction. And she says, and she said she admits that it is much harder than even she anticipated. Obviously, she didn't think it was going to be easy, but it's even harder than that. So to your point, she said that it's a commitment going forward that the city continues to prioritize homelessness and this is another quote, deal with this problem now while we can. And she said, and there's the money quote, right, is, I will not allow the city of Las Vegas to become another San Francisco or Los Angeles. She did not elaborate on exactly what that meant from reporting that I have seen on the event. She did highlight some positive stuff in terms of what the city is trying to do to not become San Francisco or Los Angeles. And that includes retooling outreach teams, which pair police officers with mental health professionals to do outreach in the community. And then also working with municipal courts who obviously have homeless people with pending cases and sort of how to properly handle those situations. She, of course, mentioned Campus for Hope, which is a major transitional housing project that's currently being built through a huge public-private partnership funded by the Resort Association. And then, beyond homelessness, she also talked about housing developments, which is sort of ironic, I suppose, including homes that are being built. So she talked a little bit about homes being built at the former golf courses, like the Desert Pines one and Badlands, obviously. A lot of past drama there, as well as homes that are being built on the former site of Cashman Center and Grant Sawyer, which are two downtown buildings that are no longer there. I think they've been demolished, right? maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, very interesting deal. And it's like the big question that I had coming out of this is like, are we actually at risk of becoming the next San Francisco as it relates to homelessness? Like, is that something that either one of you are really worried about?
I don't think so. That's a big statement to make. If you think about some of the stories that have come out about San Francisco and LA, like people are getting their cars broken into at a higher rate, and a lot of people are moving out of those cities because of their homeless issue. I don't think that has hit Las Vegas. And I don't think we're close to that. But, it's nice to hear the mayor is keeping her eye on it.
Yeah. Don't California my Nevada, I guess it comes to mind when you hear her say that,
Yeah, Jesse, how does that make you feel as a former Los Angelan?
Yeah, you're
Los Angelino?
Me.
What is it?
I appreciate that. Technically a former Venturan, but, Southern California, as a whole, really. And I don't know if this helps me or not. I came here by way of Alabama, so I kind of skirted the California route to get here. So don't hate me, folks that are listening. But I think it's interesting because, look, as someone who frequented the Los Angeles area and have seen how bad, the homeless situation is down there, it's like, you don't want that to end up being the case here in Las Vegas. Like you don't want, encampments everywhere and things like that. You don't want us to become a place where, again, you feel for them because this is a tough situation for anybody experiencing homelessness, but you don't want to become a situation where tents are popping up literally everywhere and there's nothing we can really do about it and get to a point where it's just insurmountable. So that's the thing that's just so interesting is like, how do you tackle this problem? And that's my question too, April, is like, how have you seen us maybe tackle it and what's worked well for us as a city to help avoid that becoming the case?
Yeah, I don't know about if we can point to anything that has had a major success story or they'd be replicating it, right? And obviously it's just too big of an issue in terms of scope, right? We can say, oh, they're building 900 beds of transitional housing there are thousands more people beyond that that need that housing, and I think that unfortunately what we often do is talk about homelessness as the issue and not a symptom of these larger, broader problems, right? Like, and that's something that the city of Las Vegas and all of the municipalities and the county and the state at large don't want to talk about. Like the fact that like
nobody does.
Nobody wants to. It's like you only get to the point of homelessness after a lot of systems have failed you.
Yeah.
And what are those systems in Nevada that have failed us and why are we not tackling this problem upstream? Like there are people who are, they wouldn't call themselves homeless, but they are by definition because they're sleeping on someone's couch because they can't afford their own apartment because rent is too high, or there are families that don't have housing options in terms of buying a home. There are people who need mental health, and if they could just get on the right medication and it would cost something they could afford, maybe they wouldn't end up living in a storm drain. You know what I mean? There's all of those upstream problems that are the reason why we get there.
Yeah, something that stood out to me in the State of the City address is I love that she was talking about all of the new developments coming online. It's definitely nice to hear that the Evel Knievel Museum is still opening or is still supposed to open. But I would have liked to hear more about jobs and job creation attached to those developments or some kind of movement there, because I think that goes like kind of what April was saying, hand in hand with one of the issues that leads into homelessness. It was nice to hear that the multi-agency outreach resource engagement program is being retooled. Mayor Berkeley talked about that when she was then candidate Berkeley on our Mayoral Monday series on the podcast. And it obviously is a big issue to her, homelessness and taking care of it. I just wish there were more solutions presented during that address.
Yeah. Or they could be advocating for larger problems. I think, and I'm not being a critic of Mayor Berkeley for not being able to do more on this issue. I think it's beyond her scope and beyond a lot of people's scope. But certainly our city officials could be leading the charge on forcing the state and broader conversations about how we are failing people and letting them fall through the cracks. So the best way to solve homelessness is to not let people get that far and to have communities that help one another when they are falling before they get to that point, because everything else is cleanup.
This year, TEDx Las Vegas 2026 is exploring the theme of past, present, possible, looking at where we've been, where we are, and what's next. The 2-day immersive experience includes tours, panels, experiences, and of course, main stage talks with 19 speakers and performers. Located in beautiful downtown Las Vegas at the AC Hotel and Element Symphony Park, this year's speakers include leaders across art, science, business, and culture as well, giving us not just talks, but ideas designed to shift your perspective. These talks are designed as a fully immersive experience that goes beyond the stage, including art, community activations, and curated programming throughout the footprint. This event is coming soon and tickets are limited, so use the code JOINUS, that's JOINUS, for $25 off. TEDx Las Vegas 2026, past, present, possible, May 2nd and May 3rd in downtown Las Vegas. Get your tickets now at TEDxLasVegas.org. Now let's make a hard transition to WrestleMania 42. No easy way to dive between those two topics, I'll be completely honest. I tried to go to the bag and I was like, not happening. So this one's interesting because I guess some of the top superstars, sounds like they didn't really, have a great experience. The show for them didn't stop at Allegiant Stadium. So Layla, what's the deal with this in terms of WrestleMania and what was going down last week?
Yeah, so WrestleMania 42 just wrapped in Vegas, and there was a lot of controversy about security concerns from the superstars. The most talked about incident involved CM Punk, who knocked a phone out of a fan's hand after following him and another wrestler, Bailey, and his wife, AJ Lee, to the elevators of the hotel. And the video, if you watch it from TMZ, it's kind of sad. You can hear the fan saying, sorry, Punk, after he knocks the phone out of his hand. And I don't even see him look down to pick up the phone. He just like walks away. And that wasn't an isolated moment. Another wrestler, Booker T, called it the worst fan environment he's ever experienced on his podcast.
That's not little.
Even claiming that someone filmed him inside the bathroom.
Yeah, like, what are we doing here? What are you following people to the bathroom for?
And then also wrestler Sean Waltman echoed that and said a fan stalked him in the bathroom as well, also saying that he was physically assaulted and had cameras shoved in his face. Part of the problem here was structural. WWE booked a hotel, the MGM, that was
open to other people.
Yeah, exactly. They have shared areas, the lobby, the casino floor, the hotel elevators.
The bathrooms.
Yeah, the bathrooms. Those are all shared public areas. And according to Fightful Select, which is a wrestling news website, TKO, which is the merger between WWE and UFC, and WWE simply did not hire enough security. A lot of talent, when they were asked about security, said, what security?
Oh, geez.
According to the website, yeah. There's also some people pointing out that wrestlers were really tired after meet and greets, these physically demanding shows, that seeing fans approach them being camped out in the lobby was a lot on the wrestlers. So having them come up to them and approach them when they're off and not in the ring was taxing on the wrestlers and led to some of these altercations. And then MGM issued a statement saying to the Las Vegas Review-Journal that their top priority is a safe and enjoyable experience, and they're constantly evaluating their procedures.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too. Like, it's not a nothing burger when MGM responds, and also they're not some dinky hotel that this is their first experience with something like this. So like, very clearly, if it's this big of a story, they dropped the ball in a big way. So I guess I'm wondering though, and two, also the thing that comes to mind is these wrestlers, they're used to these type of things. Wrestling fans are nuts in the best way possible. That's why the sport's so massive. So
yeah, they seem intense.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like, is it a Vegas problem, a WWE problem, an MGM problem? Like, April, how do you wrap your head around who's to blame, I guess, for these issues here?
I mean, it sounds like a WWE problem. Like, it sounds like, I mean, if you've got the stars of this saying, what security, we have, and I know that WWE fans are like intense and really into it, which is great, but like, we have really intense fandoms come here all the time. Like, people didn't even know where Taylor Swift was staying. You know what I mean? Like, she has her team on lockdown. Like, I mean, we have people come in here all the time who are really famous, who deal with that. And the fact is, there are back entrances for those people, and there are coaches, or there are plenty of hotels that would be able to accommodate them. And I feel like MGM is one of them, and all of their properties are one of them. Like, I think that it sounds like maybe WWE just didn't think about how intense it was going to be. And maybe it wasn't like this last year because it was new, but then people sort of learned where they were and sort of outside. I don't know what happened.
They scoped it out. They knew where to camp out. Yeah,
maybe they learned from last year, and now this is a learning opportunity for them to fix it. But I find it hard to believe that it's some sort of problem with Vegas at large, because we're not hearing this every week when there's a new, when Allegiant sold out and T-Mobile sold out and all of those things. Like, we know how to do this. It's a city,
Exactly. Yeah, there was just CinemaCon that was here. A lot of stars were in town for that. F1, we don't hear about these issues. And I wonder if it's, yes, a WWE problem, not hiring enough security, not coordinating with Metro, not keeping the locations of the talent's whereabouts in hotels private, but also maybe an MGM problem. And I say that because CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, two wrestlers, their agent, Nick LaPiccolo, said that last year when they stayed at the Fountain Blue, there was a more intuitive flow to the valet, to the guest rooms. So I think it might be MGM's layout not being able to accommodate a private entry for some of these megastars.
Yeah, they mentioned the private or the VIP elevator, those type of things. Like, figure out a way to kind of sequester them and avoid the masses of all of that, you know? But again, MGM does house a lot of big fights and stuff, you know? A lot of the grand arrivals are all there in the lobby, and they find a way to do it too. So I lean a mix of both MGM and WWE. One thing that's interesting to me, though, is like, so UFC and WWE are both involved with the same company, Endeavor. And with UFC fights, you know, obviously these fighters come to town, similar-esque sport and fan base in terms of the craziness of it. A lot of the UFC fighters are staying off strip at different, like, you know, Airbnbs and things like that. So the question that was like that I thought of was like, why are they staying on the strip at these hotels? Like, they can have drivers, they can get police escorts, all those types of things to get in these places. I don't think it makes sense to have them on the strip. I know it may be easier, quote unquote, but like, why are they down there in the first place?
That's fair, because when I think about probably like the F1 stars that are here, you don't see them in the hotels a lot at all. And I mean, a lot of the hotels are hard to get to anyway then. So maybe that also factors in there. But they're also not hanging around on the casino floors like the WWE talent might do. And like, you even saw some of them at Audio Bar and doing more public events and out and about around town. So I think the WWE stars might have just been more visible and going around town more, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, they're not little people. They definitely stand out. I mean, that's for sure. You know, they're all very flamboyant too in many of the ways they look and dress and stuff. So I guess, I don't know. Do you guys feel like this is kind of a one-off? It's not something that would, you know, dissuade big events from coming to Vegas, or do you think it's something where it's like, hey, we really got to sit back and think about this?
I don't think it'll dissuade anybody. You know, I think people know what their options are here. Like we've mentioned, you can stay off strip, charter a bus, and then take all your talent somewhere else. They're not going to notice you at the Holiday Inn down the street. Honestly, rent that whole place out, probably. You know, I think there's that, and maybe it is, you know, a venue issue where they didn't have problems at the Fountain Blue. You know, I don't imagine the lobby of Fountain Blue getting too rowdy. I've never been there personally, but, you know, MGM is more known for that. It's a lot more traffic there, I would imagine, in terms of that. So I think WWE will learn from this. And when they inevitably probably come back next year, I don't know, you know, I think they'll learn and other places also will not be dissuaded.
Yeah, they're actually going to Saudi Arabia next year.
What?
Yeah, so I don't know when the next time WrestleMania will be in here, but obviously we do host a lot of UFC events. And I don't think this will dissuade people from coming back. It might dissuade WWE from coming back and those stars. But like April said, there is a way to coordinate in Las Vegas where you have the security and the privacy for these megastars and these big events. I think in the future, what it might look like is a bigger coordination with Metro and security firms where you're seeing more security for these people on the strip, and they're not just, you know, in public spaces and hotel banks being assaulted by fans.
Yeah, look, we're a city that's prided on hosting people. Maybe just have a couple more meetings leading up to it to avoid this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Now, speaking of big crowds, let's talk about BTS. Yeah, what a transition. That was way better than the previous one. The K-pop superstars are coming back to Las Vegas in May, but this time it's actually bigger than just a concert, right? They're launching something called BTS The City, a full takeover of Las Vegas where the strip, hotels, landmarks, you name it, the digital marquees, all of it, they're getting transformed into an immersive BTS experience. Now, Layla, I admittedly don't know anything about BTS. I am a novice in every sense of the word, but you are our resident expert. So please explain to us what the heck all of this actually means.
Yeah, so this is a huge deal because this is the only U.S. city that BTS is doing a full city takeover in. Last time that they were on tour in 2021, 2022, they did this with multiple cities. I believe they did this in LA, but Las Vegas is the only place that they're returning to. They did this again for their Permission to Dance tour before they went on military service and took the hiatus. The other city that they are doing this is Busan, which is a South Korean city. But BTS, of course, if you don't know, is the biggest K-pop band in the world. And they are back from their military service after 4 years. This is kind of their reunion show for their new album, Arirang. And they're doing so many events nationwide, just put on by fans. So seeing them take over Las Vegas in an official sense is very exciting. Last time they did this, we saw restaurant takeovers, we saw pop-ups at Area 15 and all around the city. We saw special official events for fans. This time, nothing official has been announced yet, but we're expecting a same kind of layout where they're taking over restaurants, special hotel room themes and giveaways. The screens on the strip will be showing welcome messages in their album color of red. Usually their color is purple, but we'll see how they redesign this. But it's going to be very exciting because this brings in a lot of people to Las Vegas. Last time, the estimated economic impact, and you can say what you will about how these numbers are found in like what measurements they look at for this, but it was $160 million of economic impact to the city. Yeah, and this time it's supposed to be even bigger. They're taking over Allegiant Stadium for 4 nights. It was initially going to be 3, but they added a date because the tickets just sold out crazy. It's May 20th through May 31st. I'm going to the show date on the 27th. I'm very excited. So yeah, we'll see how BTS takes over the city this time.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Speaking of our previous topic where they're having issues, I would imagine the BTS crew is going to have their security in order.
Oh,
because
yeah,
we've seen
they're
those
locked
crowds.
down. We didn't find out what hotel they were staying at until after they left, I believe, if it's
We
even
or
out.
you?
I mean, I think we
army,
as the
army.
fandom. Yes, the army. I still don't know what hotel they stayed at last time they were here. They really keep that on lock. I know that there were a few Korean barbecue spots that they visited that I'm going to try to go to this time in hopes of spotting them. Respectfully, of course, because armies are respectful and we are respectful fans.
You're not following anybody into the bathroom or anything.
If I just happen to see them, then I don't even know if I'll look. I'll just respectfully, happily share the same restaurant as BTS.
Yeah. April, I mean, I'm curious, obviously Layla is very excited for this. This is her Super Bowl and I love this. Are you a K-pop fan, April? Can you appreciate it? How do you kind of, wrap your head around this?
I mean, I was really, really into K-pop Demon Hunters because my kids got into it and that was catchy. I like K-pop when it comes on. I think it's catchy and it's fun, and I'm not super into it. I don't know much beyond the songs to sort of transition over into the sort of main pop stream or whatever, but I think it's awesome. I think it's great. I think people yearn for, when we talk about Vegas and it being more than gambling, this is what we're talking about, right? We're talking about people being excited to come here and see a show, but also experience the whole city sort of transforming around them in a fun way and people sort of breaking out and doing fun things. And I love that a lot of this sounds like it'll be highlighting a little Korean barbecue. That's great. I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm so excited. Honestly, every K-pop person I know is super cool. So I think that I think it's awesome.
I can't wait to see the revenue report from the KBB spot that they take over. I hope we get access to that because I want to know what their numbers are like, when everybody pours in.
Yeah, and I will say their fans are dedicated and it brings attention to the businesses they frequent. When they had a show in LA, and just to tell you how big of a fan I am, but when they had a show in LA, they had said in an interview what their favorite Korean barbecue spot in LA was. So my niece and I made the whole trip about making a reservation at their favorite Korean barbecue spot and visiting that. And they kind of know that people are coming there because BTS said it was their favorite one in LA. And so I can't remember which one they went to 4 times when they were here last in Vegas. Yeah. I'm sure you can find it online and people are talking about it. They'll probably go to a different one because people know now. But I think we all also talk about in Vegas, the tension between, is this for tourists and or is this for locals? And I think this is interesting, and pat on the back to whoever brought this back at the Las Vegas Visitors Convention Authority or whoever approved this in the city. I'm not always, some of the events, I'll say F1 feel like a burden on the local population
Yeah.
to where you're thinking like, okay, how much impact is this making? Like, how many locals are interested in this? But I will say the Las Vegas K-pop community is pretty strong. And I think that shows that them coming back here to Las Vegas and this being the only US city that they're doing it in, shows that we have like a good market for K-pop here in Las Vegas. And I'm glad to see that they're leaning into it. And so I think that also not only caters to tourists, but caters to the local community. And I encourage people to, try, see what the hype is about. Go to one of these K-pop events. There's a show at the Brooklyn Bowl where they do like a BTS night. They're doing 2 nights of that. If you see a K-pop event that looks interesting or that you can just like go and hang out and grab a drink at and experience it. There's some local creators who are also putting on events. This is my friend, but she's Creative Events on Instagram, Korea Tiv. And she's doing like a whole purple week for fans in local spots. So this isn't just like on the strip. They'll have a spot in Henderson. They'll have a spot at, maybe in Summerlin, where they're doing events for fans to meet up, find some friends, and enjoy like the whole spectacle of it.
I love that because I think it's cool that, so many times we see these events come to town and it is just boom at whatever location it's at, or at Allegiant or anything like that. Like they're spreading their tentacles, for lack of a better word, around the city. And again, helping local businesses, all that stuff. Like I love seeing that. So I guess that brings the question though, too, of like, the fact that they've got stuff dyed red and all those things. What's one of the most spectacular elements of Las Vegas that we think BTS could take over that would just be even more insane? Like, let's Vegas this up to like the next level, crank it up to 10.
Well, I think any proper Vegas takeover now has to include the Sphere.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good
point.
point.
That Sphere better be purple or it better be red or whatever the color is. It better be flashing. It better be the whole thing,
Yeah, I'd be surprised if the Sphere doesn't turn some color to welcome BTS. Like that whole week is probably going to be showing some BTS themed graphics. And it's interesting because we see them like even food halls are getting in on this, like Proper Eats at the Aria is doing, I think, themed drinks and themed BTS specials. So you see like they're taking over a lot of different parts of the city and parts of the strip, of course. But I think what would be really cool is if they dyed the Venetian canals red. Yeah,
right.
dye it red.
Crazy.
Because especially from like an aerial view, and if you're showing like the Sphere in there is red, the Venetian canal water is red. At first, when I was telling creative producer Jacob Solis and Jesse this idea, I was like, turn Lake Mead red. I was like, I don't know about that.
I just picture the bodies washing up dyed red, like horrible idea. We don't need to find any barrels.
Too far.
Right. As soon as I said that, I was like, okay, maybe that's too far. But like any water installation on the strip, that could be red.
The Bellagio, that was the first thing I thought of.
The
like, turn the Bellagio
Yeah.
fountains red.
All
How
right.
crazy would that be? Or horrifying. I don't know. One of the two.
It might be a little scary. They did play like BTS songs during their 2022 performance here at the Bellagio fountains, and that was pretty cool. So if it could be red, yeah, it might be scary, but it might be really cool.
Yeah, or maybe even figure out, I don't know, as you were talking through, like find some sort of installation with red rock. Don't mess with red rock as a guy that loves hiking nature, but figure out it's red rock. I don't know. Combine the two somehow. Be smarter than me and find a cooler way to integrate it.
Yeah, maybe, but nothing that alters the landscape.
Exactly. That's key. I don't want anybody to come after me. Like, I'm a guy that appreciates hiking just more than anybody else as well. All right, guys, that does it for the show today. Thank you so much. This was a fun conversation.
Absolutely. Let's go get Korean barbecue, guys.
Ooh,
I'm hungry now.
Oh, you guys will be getting sick of me when BTS is in town. But thanks, Jesse.
That's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend? Rate the show too, and leave us a review and subscribe to our free morning newsletter. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Until then, though, take care.